What's cracking, fam? Back in the game room again, and today we are going to be talking about trackball troubleshooting on my 50-inch MegaKade built by Extreme Home Arcades. And it is important to know that everything I'm going to talk about today can be applied to any MAME cabinet or anyone who's using MAME trackball games, that sort of thing. And it's important to also understand that this is the nature of the beast, right? It really doesn't matter who built the machine or what company made it, yada, yada, yada. This is something that happens across the board. Sometimes these trackballs reassign themselves to different USBs or different mouse numbers, or you just lose all functionality of the trackball altogether. It sucks, but I do have a few tips I'm gonna show you today to get you back on track and get your trackball back up and running should you ever run into it. Some people never have it, some people do. I've had issues in the past, but I believe what I'm about to show you today is pretty much gonna alleviate the issue altogether, which it has for me since I've done this. So sit back, crack a beer, we're gonna talk about some trackballs. Let's get into it. There is one main thing that you are going to want to do no matter what. And if your machine doesn't already have it, you're gonna wanna do this. This is top priority when it comes to making sure that your trackball is not gonna jump around or lose connectivity. So I have a screw right here on each side of the play field on my MegaKade. I've already loosened them, and I'm gonna lift this bad boy up and show you guys the undercarriage. This one's gotta be loosened a little bit more. Ba-bam. Here's another good reason to have someone make it for you and not do it yourself, but let's move on. So, right here is the bottom side of my trackball, and then here's the iPack board, and then you will see the trackball. Here's the trackball functions right here. They're all going into this little PCB board, and there is a USB cable plugged into the side of this little board, and you're gonna see this used to travel down into a USB hub that sat right here. Don't do that. You're gonna get a USB extension cable, and you are gonna run this USB cable all the way down straight into the PC and plug it into its own dedicated USB port. I don't need to pull the machine out and show you guys the back of the PC. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. But I know a lot of you are gonna see a USB hub right here. I have since removed mine and ran everything directly to the PC. Now, plenty of people have USB hubs and they never have that issue. Some people do, some don't. I'm telling you right now, put a USB dedicated cable straight from this little board, which controls the trackball functionality, and run it straight to the PC. Let's move on to the rest of the video. All right, guys, here we are. We are in the trackball category right now. Actually, we're hovering over it here in the main menu. So I'm gonna go into the trackball category, and I'm gonna show you how to reassign your trackball if it randomly stops working. Let's say you lose all functionality and it's being recognized as a different number. Don't know why that would be, but let's just say it happens. First things first, this is a very important piece of knowledge. You want to go into your system settings first, right? Just above Arcade Classics. And then we are gonna go over to the U section, which is gonna take us to unlock your input general settings, because everything I'm about to show you after this will not stick unless you unlock your input general settings before you do it. Now, let's hit unlock input general settings. Now it says this will unlock MAME input general settings. Press player 1's button 3 to continue. So I will hit player 1's button 3. Now it has unlocked them, and it says you can now modify game input general settings. Press player 1's button 3 to continue again. So boom, we have now successfully unlocked your input general settings. There's a big reason why it is set up this way. Because if you're in the middle of a game and someone accidentally mashes buttons and brings up that in-game MAME menu, they can actually do some damage and reconfigure things and not know it. And that is why locking the input general settings is such a crucial key, and it's a great feature to have. So before we do anything, unlock your input general settings before we do this. Now here we are. We are in Shuffle Shot. Let's go ahead and let this load up and get into it. Okay guys, here we are. We're in Shuffle Shot. It's a super fun game to play. So let's go ahead and play. I'm gonna hit start and let's see if I can select how many players I want. Why in the hell is my trackball not working? That is so frustrating. I'm sure a lot of you have ran into this. So what we're gonna do is, now that we have unlocked input general settings, we are going to pause this by holding player 1 start and down on that player 1 joystick. And we're gonna bring up the MAME configuration menu or the settings menu by holding player 1 start and right on that joystick. You can see how easy it is to get into this menu, and that's how the old button mashers can once in a while bring this up. And the first thing they usually end up doing is mashing player 1 start, and now you are in your input general settings. These settings blanket all of the controls for everything in input general and everything in MAME. So this is going to blanket every game in the trackball category in this version of MAME with these settings. Now, we're gonna go to player 1 controls because I only have one trackball, and that's pretty much the standard, and that is controlled by the player 1 controls. If you have more than one trackball, you probably are gonna use player 2 and player 3. But let's stick to what's simple. We're gonna hit player 1 start, go into player 1 controls, and I'm gonna hit up to go to the bottom of the menu because it's a really long menu. These are all, devices that you have connected. And here we are up here. What is going on? Track X analog is your left and right controls on your trackball. And you can see 3 spots down, we have Track XY analog. They both say mouse 1X. Okay, so the trackball decided it was gonna say, I wanna be mouse 1X today, and that's why the trackball isn't working. We're gonna change that right now. Hover over Track X, mash that player 1 start button, clear it out, and then we're gonna roll left and right on the trackball, and boom, there you go. Now we are mouse 3X, which has been my permanent mouse number ever since I did the straight USB to the PC fix. We're gonna go down 2 more to Track XY analog, mash that player 1 start button, and now we're gonna roll it up and down, and there you have it. Now we have mouse 3Y. So let's get out of this menu. You know what, I'm gonna go back down and do it the right way. So we're gonna go to return to previous menu, hit start, and then we're gonna go to previous menu, and then we're gonna go down to return to machine again. And now we are back to the game. I'm going to unpause it, player 1 start, down on the joystick. Let's hit start again and see what happens. Well, what do you know? The trackball works now. This has blanketed every single machine in the trackball category with your new trackball assignment, and you should be good to go. Now, there's one last thing that I want to show you guys, and for the sake of keeping things simple, we're going to use this game as well. So let's pause this again, and then we're going to hold player 1 start, bring up the in-game menu again. Now, you'll notice input this machine. What does that mean? So, plain and simple, input this machine is when you configure special controls to only work on this specific game. So we're gonna go into input this machine, and you can see Track X analog is already set up mouse 3X and mouse 3Y. Why is that? Because I changed it in input general, which blanketed the entire system, and every trackball game in this version of MAME is now working like that. But let's say you wanted to make it a different trackball. Let's clear out mouse 3X, and I'm gonna use my spinner for this example, and boom, see, now you can make this trackball work with the spinner if that's what you so choose. Or let's say you don't care about blanketing the entire category of games with the same trackball settings. Let's say you just want one game to work the way that you want it. That's the only game you play. You're gonna come in here and you're gonna say, okay, input this machine. We're gonna clear that out. We're gonna go back left and right. There you go. It has now mapped just this machine to the proper mouse settings. And for all intents and purposes, that is all you need to know about configuring trackballs in trackball games. 3 things. Unlock your input general settings first before you go in and you assign it to everything in the machine, because the next time you shut it down and play it, it's not gonna stick and it's gonna be frustrating as hell. Number 2, run a dedicated USB cable from the back of that trackball board straight into the PC. That is going to alleviate 99% of your problems right there every single time. And then the third tip is, if you just want to do it in that game and that game alone, you're going to go into the tab menu and you're going to go to input this machine, and you're going to be able to configure the trackball to whatever you want, or any other buttons that are on the playfield the way that you want them. And that is how we do it. So there you have it for trackball tutorial tips. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for tuning in on my live streams. I really appreciate it. And in case any of you haven't done so yet, please like, share, and subscribe yourselves. Don't forget to ring that bell and hang out with me on my Friday night live streams. We usually kick it off around 10:30. Bring the cocktails, bring the dope, whatever you're into. I don't discriminate, and I don't player hate. Thanks again. Signing off on the MegaKade. We're going to see you guys in the next video. Peace.